Hello, welcome back to the Chit Chat Knits podcast. And if you're finding me for the first time, welcome. I hope you've been well. Have you been working on some fun projects? I sure have, and I have some fun things to show you today. So, you may have noticed the title of this episode, A Bad Case of Stripes. And I've been on a yarn knitting striping fun thing lately. So our book today is A Bad Case of Stripes by David Shannon, and that's where the title of this episode comes from. So I want to show you some fun stripy things today. First of all, I want to tell you about what's been going on here. We've been so busy. I think I told you in my first episode that I play ukulele, and it's summer, so we have a lot of fun ukulele activities going on. In the last week, we had 4 events that our group played for. One of them was, a church pie and ice cream social, but the great thing about that is that we were able to go and play, which our group loves. We had about 40 members there. And the event was to raise money for a local food shelf. So that makes me feel so good that we can use our love of music and love of the ukulele to help others out. So I just want to say, if you have any interest in playing the ukulele, just shoot me an email and I can point you to some good resources. It's a fun activity. All right, let's talk knitting. This is not a podcast about ukulele. This is a podcast about knitting. So let's get into the knitting. Let's talk about what I'm wearing. Look at that. This is my Knit Chat Cowl. On the last episode, I showed you this gorgeous yarn by Woolens and Nosh, and here it is. It's a cowl, and I absolutely love it. I told Michelle that I absolutely have to have another skein of this yarn. She is saving me a skein. This is a featured color at Zombie Knit Apocalypse coming up this week. And she promised me that she would save me a skein that I could purchase because these are my colors. Let me tell you about the pattern. It's live on Ravelry now. It's a 1 skein cowl. And I wrote the pattern to try to use most of the skein. I always leave about 10% because as knitters, we all knit a little differently. Some knit tighter, some knit more loosely. And so I always want to make sure that you're going to have enough yarn. But on this one, I really wanted to use as much of the skein as I could, so that you don't have a whole lot of leftover. But you will have enough to make the cowl. It starts with a 5x5 ribbing, and then it has center decreases that go down, so that creates a bandana style cowl. And you can see how nicely it just lays, and you don't have to fuss too much with it. It'll just lay around your neck, and it's just super comfortable. Even can be worn in the summer because it's not, it's fingering weight yarn, so it's not super warm, but also a nice layering piece in the winter as well. So that's called the Knit Chat Cowl, and it is available on Ravelry. You can link from my website, whatever. I have another one to show you, another sample, and this is Woolens and Nosh yarn too. Look at that fun colorway. I love the 1980s vibe of this one. I think that this one looks really nice with a black t-shirt. In the pictures, my model wore a black t-shirt, and it looks so nice on her. So the pattern is comprised of ruche stitches and eyelets. And this ruche stitch, traditionally a ruche stitch will make sort of a ruffly effect. And I wasn't really necessarily looking for it to be ruffly. What I wanted was a squishy texture. And it really has a lovely squish to it that just feels good. It doesn't, you know, it kind of shows a little volume when you wear it, so it just doesn't go flat around your neck. And I really like that. The other thing that gives it that squish is the yarn. And this is Targi. I'm not sure, I think it's Targi, not Targi, Targi. And so I wrote a few notes about that because I wanted to talk to you about that fiber, the Targi fiber. So it was founded in the mid-1900s by the Experimental Sheep Station of Du Bois, Idaho. I hope I'm saying that right. Du Bois, Idaho, in Idaho. The foundation stock is Rambouillet, Corriedale, and Lincoln breeds. And if you're a spinner, you can tell me what that all means. But it was blended from several sheep breeds. This is what I found the most interesting, the adjectives for this fiber. Soft, springy, yes, durable, elastic, squishy, resilient, takes color well. Look at that. That's certainly most true and evident. And it's a softness that rivals merino. So those were the attributes that I found of this yarn, and I just love it. Oh, that color, the squishiness between the pattern stitches and the fiber in this yarn, it just has a wonderful squishy feel that I just love. Now, in the last couple days, I've been out on Instagram, and it's so much fun because there's some people on Instagram who have been sharing their projects with me. The hashtag is KnitChatCowl, and a few people have been adding their projects to the KnitChatCowl hashtag, so I've been able to see them, and also they've been sharing stories that I've been able to see. So I just wanted to mention a few knitters who are knitting this cowl right now. One is Yarn Symbols, and hers is a beautiful fall colors. Ooh, oranges and browns and golds, just so pretty. And then Patty Sheck, and if I'm remembering correctly, hers is kind of some jewel tones, but there's a little white, a little bright pink, really, really beautiful yarn, and beautiful knitting as well. And then Inciting Mischief, and this is one you have to see because she is doing it in Halloween colors. So this got me thinking that this would be a perfect little cowl to do in Christmas colors. So I'm going to be on the search for a self-striping Christmas yarn because my ukulele group, here we are back to the ukuleles again, we do a lot of gigs at Christmas time and we wear red shirts. And so I think that a really great accessory for my ukulele gigs would be to have this cowl in some Christmas striping yarn. Wouldn't that be fun? And it's the perfect size. I can still play my ukulele with it on. So I think I'll do that as a Christmas in July project to make this cowl in Christmas. If I can find the right yarn, because I don't think I have any in stash. So I'll be on the search for that. That'll be fun. Another new shawl that has just been released, and you've seen this before. If you've been with me, you've seen this before. This is the Each Kind of shawl, but you have not seen it finished in this yarn. This is This is Sun Valley Fibers. Jeanette from Sun Valley Fibers. Jeanette and George, if you haven't met them before, you must, because they are wonderful people. Anyway, Jeanette has this great yarn. The turquoise is called Marrakesh Express, and the little pearl gray color there, that's called Frost. And oh my gosh, it's so soft. You could wrap a baby in this. It's so, so soft. Ooh, I just love it. Again, kind of a squishy texture. This textured stitch, simple to do, creates this great squishy texture. Now, why did I call this Each Kindness? This is was inspired by a quote that you saw in the beginning of the video by Jacqueline Woodson from the book Each Kindness. This is what kindness does. Each little thing we do goes out like a ripple on water into the world. Each kindness has the power to make the world a little bit better. I love that quote because in episode, I don't remember, 2 maybe, I talked about a kindness that was done to me and how it really, it just made a really horrible day really good. So we may not always recognize the power in a kind deed, but they're so important. So I hope you enjoy the Each Kindness shawl. The other day, I had blocked it and I'd taken it off the mats. It was 99.95% dry, and I just put it on the back of the couch, and my husband happened to walk by and he said, "Oh my gosh, that yarn is beautiful. It has almost a glow to it." And then he said, "And I love those stitches. Those are so cool." Now let me tell you something. That was a rare statement because he's a great supporter of my knitting, but he doesn't often comment. So that made me feel really good. I hope everyone just loves this pattern. It's fun, it's simple. The shape of this shawl, it's a triangle shape, and this made in DK weight, it's a decent size shawl. But here's the thing. The increases are done so that it's longer in the wingspan. It's got a nice long wingspan, and I wouldn't say short, but a little shorter in the V. So look at how it drapes so well. Look at that. It's going to drape and it's going to stay on. It's not going to be slipping off. You've probably had that happen before where the ends are slipping. When I was teaching 3rd grade, I would wear a shawl like this, and I was constantly trying to adjust it because I liked the warmth of it, and I liked the look, but when they're slipping, I was always adjusting. This one, the increases and the shape will stay on. Plus, if you want to wear it as a traditional shawl, that there's actually extra increases on the wingspan, and that makes it wrap around and stay around you. So I hope you like it. I've also been using a new kind of cast off that I found, and I've written that into this pattern and this pattern. And look at the edge that is created on this one. Because I didn't put ribbing here, it sort of curls. Can you see that? Look. It has a slight roll to it, sort of like an I-cord edge. But if you've done an I-cord edge before, you know that, especially when you have all these stitches, it can become a bit tedious. this one is fast and easy. You still get a slight roll, but you're going to do it in a quarter of the time, if it even takes you that long. It is very quick. And I think that edge, let me if I hold it like this, I think that edge is so pretty. So it's called the Each Kindness Shawl, and it is on Ravelry right now, this week. Okay, 2 new projects finished. All right, so before we go on, let me show you this. Okay, don't be shocked. I crocheted. Look at that, granny squares. Aren't those cute? So my idea for this, I started out as a little girl crocheting and crocheted a long time. Never great, just could crochet. I know the basic stitches, but then I started knitting, and then knitting just took over. So I was actually camping with my girlfriends, and one of them, a couple of them, 2 of the girls are terrific crocheters. And so I said, okay, get me started here. Help me. I know it's just a granny square, but when you don't do it for a long time, you need a little help. So they got me going. Here, let's look at the 2 different. See, there's the 2. See how I turn the colors? And what I'm going to do, what I want to do with these, I need 16 of them. And I actually want to put them together and put them on a bag. So we'll see. This may take me a couple more weeks. I know, I've got 9. I only need 16, but I'll get it done. It's fun. And it also kind of inspired me because I've been seeing some granny square blankets lately where they just, I know, it's so simple. And you crocheters are like, really? But where they just start at the middle and make a giant granny square blanket. And what I'd like to do is use leftover fingering weight yarns and hold them double and make this. Because if you're like me, you have a bazillion little tiny leftovers of fingering weight yarn. And so I have a giant bin and some bags full of them. So we'll see if we get going on that. That would be a fun project. So you probably have some comments on that. If you do, let me know. Anyway, so crochet, we'll see how it goes. But speaking of those little yarn balls, let me show you the Go-Go gadget for today, because this is a game changer. Now, I first saw this tip on a Instagram post from my favorite yarn shop, Darn It Anyway, a while back, and I had little yarn balls in my bag. See, look at one's falling apart because I've messed with it. In my yarn bag, and the ends were getting all tangled up together. Have you ever had that happen where they're tangling? And so I remembered this little tip, and it is to use these little hair barrettes. And you just put it on your yarn, tuck it in, and give it a little snap to close it. So I went to my local big box store, you know, where you can get groceries and all that other stuff. And I went through the hair barrette, hair ornament aisle, and I found this little pack. These are Enchanté girls, it says. So I think they're made for little girls with the light, you know, like my granddaughter has this fluff hair. So they'd be perfect for her. But they're only about an inch, maybe 1 1/4 inches long. So they're small, which makes them perfect for yarn balls. because they just, here, maybe you can see this one better. See how it just fits on there nicely. So this has been a game changer, because now they're not getting tangled together inside my bag. So that's our go gadget tip for the day. And this pack of 18 of them was around $2. So they were very cheap. All right, so what are these for? Let me show you. This is a new project. This is a sock, and it's a patriotic, or I wanted to do it for a 4th of July pair of socks. Now, this is Wisconsin. It's supposed to be in the 90s this next week. Do you think I'll really be wearing 4th of July socks on the 4th of July? Probably not. But I think they're cute. They'll make a fun pair of socks, a fun patriotic pair of socks. So what I've done, it's just a basic 64-stitch sock that fits me well. I just started out striping on the top, and then I wanted to play with some just some decorative stitches, because I've been also doing flower stitches, and we'll talk about that in a future episode. But here you can see I used a daisy stitch, and I think that sort of looks like little fireworks on there. That's my vision anyway. So then I've gone back to, I'll just you know, no pattern, just knit around and around with the stockinette stitch. And then I think I'm going to do the light blue for the heel, and then put the dark blue for the toe. But what I think I'll do is I'll start the toe with 3 or 4 rows of stripe of this, do a stripe 3 or 4 rows of the light blue, and then finish the toe with this. So we'll see how it goes. You know, it's kind of nice to have, I sort of like to have a purse project or a card project, a sock that I can just keep in case, you know, I'm sitting somewhere. I can just do a simple knit, 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 knit. So that's what this will be now. But I wanted to tell you about this yarn, because this was a stash pass that came to me. It was given to a friend of mine, and she crochets, doesn't knit, and she passed it on to me. So this is old. This is not new yarn at all. It's Line Brand Magic Stripes, and the color is Denim Stripe. I think it's pretty. Anyway, I actually have 3 skeins of this. I'm going to finish this pair. I might make my sister, she loves red, white, and blue, so I think I'll save one to make my sister a pair of socks. And then I have a 3rd skein that I'd like to stash pass on to someone else. So I know this isn't a new great prize, but if you would like to have this, would you please leave a comment? And then whoever leaves a comment first that they would like this, I will comment back. I'll have you email me your address, and I will send this out to you. Because isn't it better that a stash is getting used than just sitting there forever? So let's call it a stash pass. I'd love to pass this on to someone else. So please comment if you would like it, because I really don't want it to just sit in my stash. I'd like to pass it on. All right, so that's a sock that'll be going in my knitting bag to just pick up and knit, that I can throw in my purse if I'm going somewhere, or keep it in the car. Sometimes if my husband and I are going mountain biking and he's going to ride longer than I am, I'll just have a sock to work on that I can just sit on a picnic bench or whatever and have a little knit while he's still riding. So, all right, so project number 2 that is on the needles now. And again, another stash project. That's exciting. So here is the yarn that I've had in stash forever. So long that I can't tell you what it is. I have no idea what this yarn is. I'm sorry, but it's probably been, so I have this little dresser, like baby dresser from my kids that I keep some stash in. And if you went in the bottom drawer and you waded your way to the back of the drawer, that's where this was found. So do you see why I can't tell you what it is? Because the ball band has long since been gone to somewhere that I have no idea. But anyway, I decided that it would be fun to pair it up with another yarn. So I picked up this coral, and this is, let me just look, it's Coats and Company Cottage Sock in the colorway Coral. I picked that up at Darn Knit last week. And here's what I'm doing. I am making a rocket tee. This is a pattern by Tanis Fiber Arts. Again, not a new pattern. So this, I've made this before. So pattern stash using, that's exciting too. And can you see that that gray blue yarn is kind of like a little polka dots? Polka dots and stripes, two of my favorite things. Doesn't get better than that. So there it is. It's called the Rocket Tee by Tanis, I think her name is Lavallee, something like that. Tanis Fiber Arts anyway. I'll try to get a picture in here somewhere. I really like this. Now, the original pattern she has written for mohair. I can't wear mohair. I can knit with it. I cannot wear it against my skin. It absolutely gives me the heebie-jeebies. I get itchy, wiggly, awful. I've tried, you know, wearing it a while to see, putting it in the freezer. It just doesn't work for me. So I'm just using 2 regular fingering weight yarns, and it's done on a larger size needle. I think it's a 5. So it's nice loose gauge. It's going to be flowy and comfortable. I think it'll look cute with a pair of denim and shorts or a denim skirt. Great for the rest of the summer. So I'm hoping to get this down in the next day or so to the, you know, to take the sleeves off. So then I can just knit when I'm at Zombie Knitpocalypse this week. My friend Laura and I are heading out to Rochester, Minnesota to go to Zombie Knitpocalypse. So this will be a great project. Both of these, the sock and this one, will be great for just knitting and chatting with people. I'm so excited to meet people. I'm a featured designer there, and I get to teach a class, but then we'll just be enjoying knitting and chatting. So if you're going to be there, be sure to send me an email, chitchatknits.com, and let's meet up and knit. Yay! You'll love my friend Laura too. She's really sweet. So 2 projects finished, 2 projects plus crochet on the needles, and an exciting event coming up. I want to tell you real quick about an event I went to last week. I got to go to Bien Aimee and see Amy Shawl of Bien Aimee, and she was absolutely delightful. She talked about her new book, and she also talked about her yarn company. And let me just tell you a quick fact. She employs 27 people, and they produce 5,000 skeins of yarn a week. They dye 5,000 skeins. They have 50 stockists around the world. That's incredible. She showed a video of her production, and it was just amazing. And you know what? She was super nice too. And she signed my book, and look at this cute sticker that I got from her. She's on a bike. You know how much I love biking. So fun. Anyway, that brings us to a bad case of stripes. This is a story real quick about Camilla Cream, who hates lima beans, and she's afraid that her friends are going to find out that she doesn't hate them. She loves lima beans, and she tells everyone that she hates lima beans. So she's not being her authentic self. And this book is by David Shannon, and it's a Scholastic publication. And she goes all through all sorts of transformations. Let me find a quick page to show you. Here she becomes one with the room until she finally decides to be her authentic self. And here's a little quote. The person who finally helps her says to her, "I knew the real you was in there somewhere." So the lesson here is that it's important that we be ourselves. I was watching the Pandemic Knitter a couple days ago, and she was talking about being authentic on her podcast. And I've always been a person that what you see is what you get. Like, if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but this is who it is. So a great book. I'm sure you can pick it up at the library. It's also, I'm sure you can get it on Amazon. It's a sweet little book with a good life lesson. All right, so I do want to ask you to use the hashtag knitwithme in23CCK, because if you would do that, then I can see your projects, and I'd love to use that as a place to be able to do some giveaways sometimes too. So knit with me in 23. CCK stands for chitchatknits. So I would love it if you would do that. All right, exciting week coming up. I'll be at Zombie, and I've got the trunk of my car packed already. So I'm super excited. I hope you are well. I hope you are enjoying your summer, and I hope your crafts are bringing you great fulfillment. Happy knitting.